Hey guys, welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thank you so much for being here. And if you are subscribed, I appreciate it. If you are not subscribed yet, please subscribe. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, while you're at it, hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. Let's get into this conversation. All right, guys, I listened to the second part of the Danaia Jackson interview with Dear Future Wifey Podcast. And man, when I tell you, I feel like I have been through a wind tunnel. I feel like I have been through a wind tunnel. I did not expect to listen to it today. I actually listened to it while I was working with a client earlier, and thankfully she was asleep. So I was able to just pop my earphones in and listen to it while I was working with my beauty guest. But at any rate, I was so disgusted. Thankfully, I know how to focus and concentrate and do what I do as a professional while I'm listening to something that's really making me angry. Because here's the gist of it. I'm probably going to do a few more conversations just to delve into a few specific things that I listened to that really disgusted me. But the fact of the matter is, I am reiterating what I said earlier, and I'm expounding on that. Danaia Jackson, in my personal opinion, even though I believe she's a beautiful young lady and she is sadly misguided and really needs to sit down and be kind of quiet and educated and get healed, she is the flip side of the coin when it comes to Derrick Jackson. Because here's the thing. She confirmed what a lot of us already knew about this man. He's been a fraud from day one. 100%. He was a fraud from day one. And I'm saying that I believe he was a fraud based on the information that she put out there. This man has never been faithful to her, and she knew it. She tried to make a hole into a house husband. And just like they said, you can't make a hole into a housewife. You can't make a hole into a house husband. You cannot make a hole into a husband, period. And you should not even be trying. She tried to tie this man down, and he tried to control her by keeping her in this relationship by giving her what she wanted, which was marriage. He never really wanted it. And then using her to be sort of like his background personal assistant in a way, but not wanting people to really truly know that he was married. So in this interview, she mentioned how he wrote that he was married in whatever the name of the book was that he wrote. I don't know any of his work, don't care to know it. But she mentioned it in this interview, and the guy was like, really? And she said, yeah. And she also said that on some of his little tour stops, she would go and she would be the person that would take pictures of him with other women. And there were times where she felt like she needed to step in and let a chick know, hey, you know, I'm his wife, right? And I mean, honestly, I don't think they really cared. And he didn't care either. And he even told her, this is what she said, he told her that she needed to fall back and pretty much play her position and don't blow up the spot so that it won't affect the bread coming in, because he's selling the illusion of being available. Yeah, his penis was available to anyone that wanted it, but his heart and his emotions and definitely his faithfulness belonged to no one, because he wasn't faithful to her ever. And he definitely wasn't faithful to these other women, because she said there were hundreds of women. So to listen to her throughout this entirety of this interview, I listened to the first part. That was over an hour. The second part was over an hour and a half. So I feel like I was through a wind tunnel for over 2.5 some odd hours of nonsense and foolishness that she sat there giggling and laughing with this man. Again, I don't know if it was a reflex or a defense mechanism, because there are some people who giggle and laugh when they are confronted by things that are uncomfortable. That actually is a real thing. But I don't think it's her case in this situation. And I said that in my previous conversation about the interviewer, because he was laughing a lot. He was laughing a lot. And there was nothing funny. Nothing was funny about anything that was being said. To be honest with you, I think the only thing he really took real serious, in my personal opinion, is when she told him that Derrick came up with the term Dear Future Wife. And then the guy, he was like, oh, really? Well, I trademarked it. I trademarked Dear Future Wife and Dear Future Wifey. So I'm glad I got it trademarked. I'm like, so that's all. Anyway, whatever. Going off on a little bit of a tangent there, but I get it when it comes to your business and your intellectual property. You want to be careful and cover and protect it. I get it. But this isn't even about that. This girl, even though she's in her early 30s, I'm saying this girl, she just comes across as very juvenile and immature. And I said this before, and I'm saying it again. I'm reiterating it. I cannot stand when people are trying to profit off of something negative that they're in and trying to act like they can help other people when they haven't been helped and they haven't been healed. Again, I don't have a problem with her telling her story, sharing her story. If she wants to write a book just talking about her experiences and people buy the book, cool, fine, do that. But for you to say that God allowed you to go through this so that you can help heal other people, you're not even healed. You're not healed. You don't have the right to be preaching and teaching to anyone. And then she's talking about her ministry. She's not even divorced. They're not even divorced. He filed and she counter filed. He filed for irreconcilable differences. She filed for adultery. They're not divorced yet. And in my personal opinion, just being beautifully honest, I don't think that they're done and they're through. I believe that they are still going to be dealing with each other. I believe that it's that toxic and it's that much of a trauma bond for her that she cannot be without him. I'm just sharing my views and opinions as it stands based on what I'm seeing right now. Because for her to say she sent him a text message to say, I forgive you for everything that you've done. And then his response was, I don't want you or this marriage anymore. And they were in the same house. He was, I think she said upstairs and she was downstairs or vice versa, but they were in the same house. And they're sending a text message to each other about their relationship. That's absolutely insane. And she said they had an over 9,000 square foot mansion, but yet he had a condo for business. Please, your business is that booming that you need to have a condo, not an office, a condo. You could not make a room in your mansion for your office. You had to be that separate and apart from your wife. Yeah, you did. Because when you're sleeping with hundreds of women, even though she was maybe not okay with it, but she would let it happen, so to speak, by staying with him, then yeah, I guess you do want to have your own space. And it may not be very comfortable for you to just have the chicks rolling up to the mansion all the time. But if you remember, when Tasha K did the interview, I believe it was 2 people she interviewed. It may have been 3. I can't remember at this moment. There was a woman that was describing the home. And then Danaia Jackson did an Instagram video in response to that. She didn't speak in it, but she was, I guess, showcasing a part of her property to try to make it seem like the woman and Tasha K were lying. Well, the woman was telling the truth and Danaia was lying because she was in denial back then. And not even so much in denial, she was embarrassed and she just didn't want to make it appear as if she was just this stupid, silly woman continuing to be in a marriage with a man that has been completely unfaithful. But she said, yeah, she knew about it. She knew a lot. So her response to people sleeping with her husband, people talking about the situations, was to curse people. And I'm going to talk about that probably separately, but right now, dealing with the conversation that they had with each other in this interview, it really tired me. It really just tired me out. has drained me physically. And I didn't even really think about it that way until as I'm speaking with you guys in this conversation now, that listening to that actually physically drained me. I planned on coming home to my office to get some work done. And I really couldn't even focus and concentrate on doing much because I just didn't feel like it. And even my husband said, what's up? I said, yeah, I got some work I need to do, but I'm just tired. And I'm just realizing now, and that's why I'm tired. Listening to that interview literally drained me. It's draining for me to listen to people be extremely foolish like that and then talk about how they are here to help other people. And you can't. I'm not saying that people who may hear her story, that they can't take something from it, that they can operate in their lives a bit differently or make changes or make different moves. Absolutely, people can do that. But for you to want to have a ministry where you're literally having people pay you, because that's what it's about. You're having people pay you for these boot camps or courses or coaching sessions or mentoring. You're not in a place, sweetheart, to do that. You're still married to this man. You're not healed. You really need to go off the grid somewhere and just be silent for a while and really genuinely, truly get healed. And I don't believe that this is the way to go about doing it. But when you've become accustomed to a specific like type of lifestyle like she has, let's just be clear. I don't care how homely she may have looked at people. She definitely has become accustomed to a certain type of lifestyle. And because of the pride of that, I believe that this is her next move to, it's like, well, I'm already in the public eye. In my personal opinion, I believe that Derrick is still in her life and he's still orchestrating some things. And I believe that this is the ultimate grift to get back into grifting people for money. But instead of him being the face of the brand, she will be the face of the brand, but a different type of brand, a different face, a different type of message, but still speaking to the women. Because let's just be honest, when it comes to stuff like this, women tend to be more emotional thinkers, more emotional buyers. Men tend to be a bit more critical and logical when it comes to things like that. And a lot of times they don't wear their heart on their sleeves and fall for the okie doke. So they're not going to buy what you're selling. Whereas a lot of women, they can see themselves as Danaia or having been Danaia before, or possibly know someone who may have been a Danaia, and they feel sorry for her and they want to support her, or they want to get connected to her in some way, or they feel like what she's gone through, they can help her. So they're going to invest in it. They're going to buy it. And it's unfortunate. I'm not trying to say that I want these people to be in the poorhouse and lose their homes and things like this. But this man has never been a husband to her. He's never been a husband. He's never been the man that I believe any woman deserves to have. She said he was driving around in Lambos and other, expensive cars, having this mansion, but her phone got disconnected for weeks because the bill wasn't paid. I don't know if she said there were money problems. So I was about to say, I don't know if it was on purpose and intentional that he didn't want her to have her phone on, or if there were money problems, but she said that there were financial issues. That may have been a lie. There may not have been any financial issues, and he just lied to her about it. I mean, he lied about everything else. So I don't even know if that's real. I'm just saying what she said. So this whole marriage was a freaking sham. Derrick Jackson, a whole sham, a whole fraud. He reminds me in some ways of Martell Holt from Love and Marriage Huntsville. This man is just a whole fraud with a big steroid neck and chest and shoulders. Like, to me, extremely unattractive. But a lot of those women, they were into that type of stuff. But I just wanted to talk about this again because after listening to that second part, girl, you don't need to be out here trying to sell anybody anything. But she's going to do it because at the end of the interview, the host, he starts, quote unquote, ministering to her. So he's I guess, prophetically speaking things into her life and saying, how she's going to really be blessed and this is her new chapter and God's going to do some amazing things with her business and her brand and all this other stuff. I don't see that. I'm not saying that I want her to be in the poorhouse, but I really feel sorry for her. I really do. But you can't get healed doing things the way that you're doing them. And then you want to try to be out here charging people for stuff so that you can make money. That's not the way that it should be ever. She said she had 3 therapists at one time simultaneously. Not had one therapist and then tried that one out, got rid of that one, went to another one. No, she said she was seeing 3 therapists at one point in time. And this was all because of the marriage. Love isn't supposed to be hard. Love isn't supposed to be painful. If you choose to be in a marriage with someone, marriage isn't supposed to be hard. Marriage isn't supposed to be painful. If it has to be that, then you really shouldn't be in a marriage. When the vows state for better or for worse, it's not meaning bullcrap like this. It's supposed to be about the life situations that none of you can control. And hey, if you can't control your dick, then that's not even what it's talking about either. But I'm talking about life situations where someone loses their job and it was, due to no fault of their own, or someone's involved in a terrible accident and you had to take care of this person and become their caregiver and you didn't ever see that for yourself. Like, those are hard things. Him being a hoe out here sleeping around with hundreds of women and you're staying in that and believing God for him to be delivered. Like she said, no, you needed to deliver some divorce papers to his ass and say, I am done with this because this isn't God's best for me. That's a word. But hey, what do I know? I don't know. I just can't stand stuff like this. It bothers me when I see people who claim to be Christ-like or Christians. It's a bad representation of what I believe God and even Jesus meant for people to have for their lives or to be for themselves. He didn't mean for us to be stupid or to be doormats or to be taken advantage of. And then we're wasting our tears crying and praying and hoping and wishing and all that other stuff, hoping that they're going to change when that's who they really are and who they really want to be. We're not talking about someone who has, something going on with their lives that's affecting them mentally where, that's affecting your marriage. That is different than someone who wants to be a whole. It just doesn't work. He never wanted her. He never wanted the marriage. He was never faithful. He was never a good man. But he was out here grifting the women who were falling for the bullcrap that he was selling. And all along, the negative situations and scenarios that he was speaking about, he was talking about himself. He was his best representation of what a horrible man is. And he was telling the women not to be with men like him, but yet he was being with a lot of those women that he was warning these women about and married the entire time. Go figure, right? It's crazy. But listen, the internet has allowed a lot of people who don't deserve a dime to make millions because they have the gift of gab. They know how to sell. They know how to speak. They know how to shine and grit their teeth and showcase their muscles or whatever it is if people are into that stuff. And it's just fraudulent. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk about that. Just bothered me so much. I kind of have a little bit of a headache, so I think I may go and take a Motrin and get some rest. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm Beth. I'm just being beautifully honest. Thank you for liking and subscribing. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.